Good morning, dear colleagues. Today we will discuss about motivations. Today's topic of our lecture is a motivation. I am Alexander Dvirsky, professor of the psychiatry and psychology. First, definitions. Yes, of course, usually we start our lecture from definitions, and in the beginning of lecture, usually I explain some materials which we discussed on the previous lecture. Maybe you remember, what does it mean, psychology? Psychology is a science about behavior. It's a science about behavior and factors which influence to our behavior. What factors influence to our behavior? It's a mental process and it's a environment. What has been behavior? Behavior is everything which we can register due our sense organs, or we can register due special device like a video, like a microphone, like I don't know, like EKG, EEG, everything which we can register objective in our body. It's a behavior. In general, what has been behavior? Behavior is something objective. And what conditions we need for developing behavior? Behavior developing when we need something. Behavior is a reply to reply to external events. It's a reply to some mental process which happen in our mind. External event, it's my opinion very clear what has been external event. For example, you are hungry, you want eating, and you has behavior how to achieve food. You feel a thirsty feelings, you want drink, you try do something for drinking. When you drink, you feel positive emotions. Okay. You remember that what does mean emotions? Emotions, it's a mental process which has a psychological and physiological component. Emotions, it's a something which influence to our behavior. What's the target of our life in general? Target of our life, it's first surviving. Second, main target of our life, it's feel pleasure. In what situations we feel pleasure? Usually we feel pleasure when we satisfy our motivations. What does mean satisfy our motivations? We create strategy of behavior which resolve some our problems. Clear? Today our topic is of course motivations. We be more exactly discuss about what does it mean motivations. But I repeat once more. Motivations has a very strong connections with our emotions, because emotions, it's a reward. When we satisfy our motivations, when we satisfy our need, we feel positive emotions. When we frustrate our motivations, when we cannot achieve, satisfy our motivations, we feel negative emotions. Okay. Emotions and mental process, it's emotions and motivations, it's a mental process. Mental process, it's a something which inside ourselves. It's our private area. Clear? Yes, of course, you can ask me what's your motivations and I can reply, but maybe it's not so true. Clear? Motivations, it's a something which hidden from other person. Motivations, it's your private word. It's your private word. Okay, now pay attention to definitions. Those factors that activate behavior and give its direction. In these definitions, we see two important words. First, behavior. What factors we need for behavior? For developing behavior, we need some factors. So first, factors. Something which stimulate our behavior. It's a needs. What is needs? It's a motivations. Motivations possible inside ourselves, like a mental process. motivations possible in environment. It's maybe some target which we need for surviving or which we need for other purpose. Like for surviving we need oxygen, we need drink, we need water, we need food, we need wires, yes, warm wires, we need like a place in which we must live. We need a lot of factors in environment which we need for surviving. And yes, of course, present internal motivations. Internal motivations, it's like receiving 5 marks in the class. It's maybe finish university, maybe enter in the university, do some promotions in the life. It's a lot of factors which influence to our behavior. For what purpose we need motivations? Motivations, emotions, it's a reward or punishment. We achieve, we satisfy motivations, we receive reward. Our body jumping in the special conditions which we recognize like positive emotions. What does it mean positive emotions in general? Positive emotions, it's a special conditions of our body. It's a conditions of our body, it's a concentrations of the neurotransmitters into the blood, into the brain. It's concentrations of the hormones in the brain, in the blood, and these conditions we recognize like positive emotions. Negative emotions, it's other conditions. And what does it mean our life? Our life, it's attraction to the body state which we call like a positive emotions, and run away from the body state when we feel like a negative emotions. Who take negative emotions and positive emotions? Our CNS, because it's a reward. Emotions, it's not a separate process. Emotions, it's a process which has connections with motivations. Emotions, it's a special process which show for ourselves we satisfy our motivation or we not satisfy our motivations. We achieve target or we not achieve target. Clear? Emotions, it's a, yes, of course, it's a mental process. It's a mental process, but it's a mental process which we feel we are our psychology, because you remember emotions have psychological and emotion has physiological component. Psychological component, it's something like we feel positive, like we wake up in the morning, you have a positive mood. It's a psychological component. But emotion has a physiological component. It's conditions of our body. Okay, emotions influence to our behavior because we do something, because we want receive, we want feel positive emotions. Why we like wins? Why we like wins? Why we like satisfactions? We like satisfactions because after satisfactions, our body feel positive emotions. And next questions. What does mean motivations? Motivations, it's a target. It's a motivations. It means we look at target. When we look at target, we don't know we achieve motivations or we frustrate motivations. Frustrate motivations, it's a word opposite from achieving satisfactions. Yes, satisfaction, it's mean you satisfy motivations, and opposite word, it's frustrations. What does mean frustration? Frustration, it's mean you want something but target unachievable for you. You cannot satisfy your motivations. In psychology, this situation has name frustrations. For example, you frustrate your first 5 marks. You want 5 marks, but you receive 3 marks. It means you frustrate your motivations. For what purpose we need motivations? Motivations direct our behavior. We do something because we has motivations, or we do something because we has satisfactions after when we satisfy after motivations. We do something because we feel pleasure after satisfactions. It's a payment, it's a salary, it's our internal salary. And yes, of course, satisfy motivations, it's a hard job. But after this job, you receive a salary. Your salary, it's a positive emotions. And you receive emotions for any kind of any kind of activity, clear? Any kind of activity which take a positive result, take a positive emotions. Does not matter this activity good for you and not so good for environment, or this activity good for you and good for environment, does not matter. Emotions, it's a payment. Motivations, it's a target. It's a target must be locked. When you lock a target, you feel anxiety. Why you feel anxiety? Your target was locked because you don't know, are you achieve motivations or you frustrate motivations. It's like ambivalence feelings, because you will feel very good when you satisfy your motivations, and you will feel negative emotions due frustrations. Okay, motivations, it's a factors which direct our behavior. Next definitions: those factors that make us do what we do and give our behavior entire and positive or negative directions. Positive or negative directions, what does it mean? It means we run away from negative emotions and we attract to positive emotions. Some event negative for ourselves, and our target run away from those events. Clear? For example, you run away from 2 marks in class. You run away from some punishment. You like positive emotions and you run away from negative emotions. Clear? What does mean negative emotions? Conflict with your parents, conflict with your friends, conflict with your teacher. You run away from conflict with teacher. Yeah, it's mean. And yes, of course, you will feel positive emotions when you run away from negative emotions. You must remember, target of our life, it's positive emotions. What does it mean, our life? Our life, it's surviving with positive emotions. It's main target of our life. I repeat once more. What does it mean, motivations? Motivations, it's a factors which direct our behavior. It's a factor which take a target for our behavior. What's connections between motivations and emotions? When we satisfy our motivations, when we achieve our target, we feel positive emotions. When we frustrate our motivations, when we lose in struggle for our target, we feel negative emotions. I hope this picture clear for you. Motivations has a very strong connections with physiological terms which has name homeostasis. What does mean homeostasis? Homeostasis, it's a biological thermostat. Homeostasis, it's a process by which internal body mechanism sense biological imbalance and stimulate actions to restore proper balance. Other word, what does it mean, homeostasis? Homeostasis, it's a set of sensors which register a lot of parameters of our body. Every sensor has some range in which we recognize, which our, I don't know, body, psychology, brain recognize this value like normal. When a result of sensors changing from the normal frontiers, we feel negative emotions. Clear? Negative emotions. For example, hunger feelings. What does mean hunger feelings? Hunger feelings, for example, it's imbalance in level of sugar in our blood. Hunger feelings, it's imbalance of the stomach scratching. For example, if our stomach full, we don't feel. We feel if our stomach like a balloon or like a scratching, like a full. Yeah, we feel full feelings, and full feelings we recognize like a positive emotions. When our stomach like an empty balloon, we feel hungry feelings. when concentrations of the sugar in our blood decreasing less than 4, we feel negative emotions like hunger feelings, and this it's a homeostasis, and we receive signal like a restore balance, like put something in our stomach, increase level of sugar in our blood. Homeostatic control exit of hunger, thirsty, body temperature, electrolytes level. It's mean when you drink only distilled water, you will feel every time you will feel thirsty feelings like dry mouth. Why it's happy? It's happy because receptors which register salt, I mean not a salt like electrolytes in our body send impulses that I need more salt, clear. And this negative emotion start behavior how to achieve water, how to achieve food, how to achieve warm wires, clear. It's you start process, and when balance was distributed, if our sensor in the imbalance, not in range, we feel negative emotions. And when our sensor show normal parameter, we feel positive emotions. And in general, we don't want eating, we want full feelings. We like conditions when we feel positive emotions, when we resolve our hunger feelings. We like positive emotions when absent thirsty feelings, because thirsty feelings, it's a negative emotions. When you drink, thirsty feelings absent and you feel positive emotions. Our life, it's an addiction to positive emotions. Every time we like positive emotions. Very important remarks. Why we do something? We do something first because we has motivations. Second, motivations take a kind of anxiety and kind of negative emotions. And we do some activity because we feel reward like a positive emotions when we satisfy our motivations. Without motivations, activity impossible. Without positive emotions like a reward after satisfactions, activity possible, because absent means main means in our life, main target of our life, it's a positive emotions. But what does mean positive emotions in normal body? Positive emotions in normal body, it's satisfactions. For satisfactions, you need activity. Yes, of course, you can crack these systems. For example, we can use marijuana, alcohol, overeating, and we every time feel positive emotions without we feel every time positive emotions without without activity, like drink alcohol and happy, reading marijuana and happy. But this pattern of behavior developing very serious conditions. It's addictions and dependence. What does it mean? Patient cannot feel positive emotions without psychomimetic substance, clear. Need psychomimetic substance and present withdrawal syndromes. What does mean withdrawal syndromes? Withdrawal syndromes, body feel negative emotions without chemical substance which take a positive emotions. It's a very serious pathology. Okay, now you understand two important things. For activity we need target, for activity we need positive emotions. If patient cannot feel positive emotions, for example due depressions, he never do anything. Why? Because absent reward. Motivations present but reward absent, clear. Absent means, why you understand, it's like a working without salary. We do something because we need salary. Salary, it's maybe positive emotions because we like this job, Maybe it's a money. Okay, now pay attention to this picture. This picture shows what does it mean, homeostasis. Homeostasis, it's a balance. Homeostasis, it's a balance. About what balance I discuss. First, it's a balance, it's a dynamic balance. After that, something happy. What's happy? For example, something wrong with biological need. You don't eating long time, more than 5 hours, and now you has thirsty feelings and hungry feelings. It's an imbalance. What does it mean, this imbalance? It means density of blood increasing, level of electrolysis changing, sugar in the blood decreasing, stomach looks like a full empty balloon, and you feel hungry feelings in your body developing need. These needs accompany with negative emotions. Clear? You feel negative emotions, and after that you need to drive. You need to drive how to achieve food and water. During the drive it's a process. During the drive you don't know what's result in the finish of your drive. It's maybe positive result, and you has a very tasty dish and dish with some drink, or maybe you cannot find any food and any water. Yeah, and in this time your body motivated to do something. Clear? You motivate. What does mean motivate? It's mean you balancing between negative emotions which you feel due hunger and thirsty feelings, and negative emotions which due the coping. Because coping you must do something, but after coping you feel positive emotions because you receive food and water, and it's take pleasure for you. Clear? For example, you sit down in the lecture, and nearest cafe near the 1 kilometers, and you has some thirsty and hungry feelings, but your hunger and thirsty feelings not so strong, and you balancing. Stand up, walk near the 2 kilometers. After that, come back and eating drink one coffee and one cake. Maybe, but it's a difficult. Yeah, it's a difficult. Maybe you can sit down in the classroom, wait 30 minutes. After that, class be finished, and you visit in a hostel and eating and drinking, and after that lying in the bed, and you feel more pleasure. It's balance between negative emotions due hunger feelings right now, and way which you must pass between lecture hall and cafe. Clear? And after you compare pleasure. Okay, your thinking has name, goal, direction, behavior. You analyze behavior, you analyze how to do something, you create a strategy how to satisfy your motivations. After that, you do drive. Yeah, you do drive, and after drive, it's activity. You may be something tired, but you're eating. You're tired due to the drive, it's a negative emotions, but you feel much more positive emotions because you feel and absent thirsty feelings. You satisfy your needs. When you satisfy your needs, your balance come back, and you wait, and your body wait new imbalance. New imbalance, maybe it's you need new knowledge. It's a balance because you bored. You feel a bored feelings. What does boring feelings? It's mean absent new informations. And you visit lecture, reading any books, and feel pleasure due education. Okay, homeostasis, it's a poor biological process. But we have not only biological needs, we need and psychological needs. So now we discuss about this. Biological needs. What does mean biological needs? Biological needs, it's a needs which depend our physical surviving. It's a hunger feelings, it's a hunger feelings, for example. What does mean hunger feelings? Hunger feelings regulate intake with food, clear. Hunger feelings, it's like control our hunger feelings, control how many foods we need. When we're full, we stop eating. When we're hungry, we continue eating. It's biological regulations. Control center situated in the hypothalamus. I pay attention. Hypothalamus, it's a middle brain. It's a very fossil area of brain. It's a hypothalamus, it's a reptile brain. It means reptile has a hypothalamus. In the hypothalamus present memory, in the hypothalamus present positive and negative emotions, in the hypothalamus present center of hunger center. Okay, a reptile, it's a very smart animals, which has memory, which understand what does it mean good, what does it mean bad. But thinking and deep analysis of situations in the middle brain absent. What does it mean hunger? It's hunger has strong connections with sugar level, with insulin, with glucagon, and with stretching of stomach. Hunger feelings reduce not only sugar. When we have a deprived food, we feel much more about hungry. Maybe we feel what vitamins we need. It's not like a name of vitamins. For example, we feel that we need a fruit. We feel that we need some vegetables, clear. And when we have some deprived in food, our hunger feelings direct our food behavior very sensitive. When we overeating, we eating all kind of food and don't think. We think only about we only fooling our stomach, clear. We only fooling our stomach, because when our stomach is full, when our stomach is scratching, we feel more and more positive emotions, clear. But when your stomach is small, you have not hunger feelings, because your stomach very small and very small volume of food scratching your stomach, and you feel much more better. Psychological factors in hunger feelings. Learning effect of hunger. You remember that when you're eating something, you feel positive emotions. Emotion effect of hungry. Some kind of food take a positive emotions, like a sweet, like a hot, like a social stimulus. Like we has some speech when we drink coffee. It's a social. Commercial aspect, time aspect, smell. In the shop, in the cafe, very often we have a lot of smell in cafe, a lot of smell in the supermarket, and it's every time stimulate our behavior, eating behavior. Stimul control, control the causes of eat. Yes, it's maybe a lot of stimul can control. It's a time, it's a smell. It's a type of dish. It's maybe holidays, celebrate some holidays. I hope now you understand that hunger has two kinds of control. First, it's a psychological. Second, it's a biological. Biological means thirsty feelings. Thirsty feelings regulate intake water. Present biological regulations. It's a drink and stop drink. It's like a two center. It's a very important homeostatic mechanism. Very important homeostatic mechanism. This mechanism more important than food, because without food we can living some days, 5-7 days, maybe much more. Without water we can live some days, maybe 1 or 2 days. Why it's happy? It's happy because water control our electrolytes. And maybe you remember from our first lecture, what does it mean, our nerve systems? Our nerve systems, it's a electrochemical systems. And what main transduction mechanism in these systems? Main transduction mechanism in these systems, it's electrolysis and water. No water, not electrolysis. Cable is empty. Empty cable, empty impulses. What does mean our impulses? It's a heart rate. It's a control of the muscles. And yes, of course, if we have not enough water or imbalance of water, present problems with heart rate, it's very dangerous for surviving. Present serious problems with muscles. It's maybe seizures, it's maybe atony of muscles, and impossible of it's very serious problems for our surviving. It's very serious problems for our surviving. Okay, how we register thirsty feelings? Dry mouth. Dry mouth, yes, of course, it's a primary feelings which we feel when we has not enough water or not enough salt in our body. Yes, of course, thirsty feelings has not only physiological control like dry mouth, we has other factors like psychological factors. Psychological factors, it's like social drinks, yes, coffee, tea, like some event, impossible without drink some fluids. Yes, alcohol, it's a special story because alcohol take energy, alcohol take positive emotions, alcohol take has a pretty taste because wine, it's a very thirsty dish, yeah, and as a result, but my opinion, it's not completely fluid because this fluid which take addictions. Usually we discuss about fluids which not take addictions like water, tea, coffee. And now you see that every time when you have a break, you running to the coffee machine and drink coffee. Why you do these things? First, it's a sweet. Second, it's a test. Third, it's a stimulations. 5, it's you resolve thirsty feelings. Yes, of course, social drinks accompany with alcohol, social drinks accompany with other conditions. Now we will discuss about psychological needs. What does it mean, psychological needs? Biological needs. First, some words about biological needs. What does it mean, biological needs? Biological needs is something which we need for our surviving. When we not satisfy psychological needs, we dying due metabolic problems. What does it mean, psychological needs? Psychological motivations motives are not directly related to the biological survival of the individual or of the individual. For example, like fashion virus, special type of the smartphone, very thirsty dish, very thirsty drink. You drink not water with salt, you drink a very special, very thirsty water, clear. It's mean your water, not a water, like a special drinks, very expensive drinks. It's something which open way to it's something which do our behavior very flexibility, clear. Because if it has only biological need, our behavior very restricted. We only eating, sleeping, drinking, that's all. And psychological needs, it's educations, it's some moral principles, it's some aesthetic feelings, it's a lot of target, and you every time jumping from one target to other target, and it's take a lot of chance what you do in next time. Psychological needs take like our behavior more wide, do our behavior more unpredictable. Say so, our behavior more unpredictable because every time we need some new things. Psychological needs. It's a drive to be in contact with other. Need for successful. Fear of failure. For example, you run away. You remember that sometimes you run away from negative emotions and you attract to positive emotions. Yes. Fear of failure. For example, you don't like negative marks which you receive, and everybody knows that you don't know materials. It's a kind of shame feelings. Yes. Sometimes fear of success. Yes. What does mean fear of success? You have a worry feeling that you are an achievement successfully. Yeah, you need a victory. You run away from the losers. A lot of parameter. A very specific topic. We have two types of motivations. It's like psychological motivations. What does it mean, intrinsic motivations? It's stimulated by the nature of activity itself. It's a process which takes reward. Clear intrinsic motivations. You do something because you like process. Opposites. Extrinsic motivations. It's something which you do because you need an external reward. For example, you don't like your job, but you visit job because you need a salary. Clear. Intrinsic motivations. You do something because it's a fun for you. Like an internal fund, stimulate your activity. Maslow hierarchy of needs. What's important you must remember about this theory? This theory, it's a Western point of view about our life, about our motivations. First, we need achieve last level. We cannot achieve high level before satisfy low level. This theory working very good in our life, but you must remember, low level without satisfy low level, we cannot jump into the more high level. Now see to this pyramid. What's our first level? Our first level, it's biological motivations, hungry, thirsty feelings. Our next level, if you're hungry, you cannot think about security. Yes, if you're very, very hungry, you don't think about own security. You be steal something because you need food. After that, you full and you think about own security. When you think about own security, it's mean when you satisfy these motivations, environment around yourself very secure, you think about social relations. You think about love feelings. You feel about belong to some social groups. You think about you want integrate yourself in some society. Yeah, because you feel you understand that everything's okay around you. You full, you in security, and now you think about how to take part in the scientific research, how to take part in some activity. Why you need this activity? You need this activity because you need respect. You need respect feelings because your surrounding must respect you. And when you have friends, when you have a family, you live in security place, you has a good health, you has enough water, enough food. After that, you start think about other things, like about self-esteem, about self-actualization. It's mean you see to your life and you accept your life. Clear? It's very important. Our target is self-actualizations, but without materialistic things like food, water, security, social structure, impossible achievement, self-esteem, impossible achievement, self-actualizations. My recommendations: reading some more additional information about Maslow hierarchy. Thank you very much for your attendance. I am Professor Alexander Dvirsky. Goodbye. Dear colleagues, lecture was clear for you? Answer me in chat. Lecture was clear for you? Dear colleagues, lecture was clear for you? My language clear for you? Information not so difficult? Are you understand materials? Like first questions, clear or not so clear? Write like clear, not so clear. Clear or difficult? Write in chat, clear or difficult. If lecture clear, write only clear. Are you has any problems with my language? Dear colleagues, my language enough for you? I hope you understand my language. Dear colleagues, you understand my language? Okay, a lecture be uploaded in our online class. Thank you very much for your attendance. I am very glad that you visit my lecture. I am very glad to work with you. I hope a lot of my all lecture you can see once more in our website. In our website, you will see more and more information about psychology, because we can provide our class completely in online. Okay, thank you very much for your high marks for me. Okay, now I stop lecture.